innovative content, global audience.
Another beautiful Wednesday here in the Federal Capital Territory. I want reaching you live from our SRTV studio, ABUJA. My name is Princess Kessie, and you're welcome to the show Wake Up Nigeria. How are you doing today? I have with me today on the show
Patience, Ukusan.
How was your night, patient? You
It
look
was
so beautiful
fine.
this morning.
Thank you. Same with you.
So, hope you slept well.
I slept very well. There was light anyway.
Just like my show yesterday.
Yesterday.
There's this peace. There's this feeling that comes with lights.
Just take your bed, lay on the bed with the fan on, and
Like
then you
it's
sleep
just a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
And that is why yesterday we had on the show, people were actually complaining, the one with that light and all that. I can imagine.
It feels like NEPA had you.
I'm telling you. Anyways, you're welcome to the show this morning. We have a lot of trending issues from Peter Obi and federal government battling each other, tackling each other. Let's see how that story will unfold as time goes on. But immediately we'll move on with our newspaper reviews this morning, and I'm going to kickstart with the Nation's newspaper. And these are some of the stories making the headlines this morning. We have here federal government, Obi, Date's action treasonable. This is coming from federal government this morning, and the rider says pulls integrity intact. We have another rider here that says Soyinka decries Date's TV chat. Obi denies it all. All these stories on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper this morning. Of course, we have a story here also that says wreck in governorship election bribe mess. That story is on page 5 of the Nation's newspaper. We also have a story here that says federal government halts 10% hike in exercise duty on non-alcoholic drinks. That story is on page 7 of the Nation's newspaper. We also have another story here that says NERC goes tough on discos over meters. That story is on page 7 of the Nation's newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says BDCs aid treasury looting. Terrorism says agency. That story is on page 4 as well of the Nation's newspaper. We have a story here as well that say this is the foreign news saying Trump pleads not guilty to 34 felony counts. That story is on page 5 of the Nation's newspaper. We also have a story here that says Finland joins NATO. Russia protests. That story is as well on page 6 of the Nation's newspaper. Reps orders condemn interim government plots. That story is on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper. These are some of the stories making wave this morning on the Nation's newspaper. Pat, I saw a story here that actually caught my attention. Government halts 10% hike in excise duty of non-alcoholic drinks. As well, we'll have another story here that said discos. NERC goes tough on discos over meters. That story is on page 7. So you see that I did that show yesterday, and we cannot stop talking about the light issues. A lot of people, when it comes to electricity, like somebody, I remember we had a caller yesterday that said I think from Airport Road, I can't remember precisely, but he complained that even this meter thing we talk about, sometimes they buy the lights and before you know it's gone. And because of the fear of the way this thing is consuming, a lot of people don't use their water heater, a lot of people don't use their ACs. For me, I don't, because the moment you put on your AC, the next thing is that noise you start hearing.
I think they need to understand that electricity is one of the basic needs of Nigerians. And Nigerians are ready to do anything to get lights. You understand?
That's
in
right.
as much as if you say the meter is 10 million, they are ready to get it because light is very important.
Let it be fair. The unit, I think sometimes the way it runs is something I don't understand. So I think they should cut down on that a little.
Yes.
It will help us. Like I said yesterday also on the show, when there's light, they tend to grow the economy. We do light today. You do a lot of things with light. You cannot succeed with that light.
It feels that light is life.
Of course, light is life. I will move on quickly to the next newspaper we have this morning.
And then from the Nigeria Pilot newspaper this morning, the major headline here says, "This is stressing." And then the rider here says, "Federal government accuses Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi of treason, admonishes him not incite people to violence over outcome of 2023 presidential election. Lai Mohammed accusing me of stalking in resurrection to is totally malicious, fictitious," says Obi. Insists he never discussed or encouraged anyone to undermine the Nigerian state. All this story can be found on page 8 of Nigeria Pilot's newspaper. And then we also have bandits kidnap 10 government secondary school students in Kaduna. And then you find that on page 9 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have Senate laments 14 months burial delay of its former president. And then we also have 88 died in 2023 elections, over 450 rights violation petition received, said NHRC. You find that on page 8 of the Nigeria Pilot newspaper. And then we also have Sue NC Olomo if you have evidence of attack, FPRO said. And then we also have NCC refutes allegations of spying on Nigerians. And here we also have audit report. Senate indicts 37 MDAs over financial procedures violation. And then article Obi's petitions can be concluded in 7 days, says Agbakoba. And then we also have reps firms at DSS over ING plots, say arrest those involved. And finally, on the Nigeria Pilot newspaper this morning, it says Nigeria's unemployment rate may hit 40.6% amid economic slowdown, says KMPG. I think that last news got me. The Nigeria unemployment rate.
Such a news should actually get to everybody, because when they talk about the youth, we are the youths, right? And we have a lot of millions of Nigerians, the youth out there. So if we keep having, I know that while growing up till now, we hear government say we are coming, we'll curb unemployment, we'll create more jobs. But it seems though the more they come, the more we have issues with employing the youth. It's reducing drastically. Economy, it's even melting down.
I think it's time for us to thank God the new government is coming in. So now they've given out their promises. They've made a lot of promises. So we as the youth, we have to stand up to hold them accountable.
All right.
In those promises.
So the thing is that I think Nigerians also, the youth, should be able to start creating, think outside the box. Sometimes when you live in an environment where it's not the labor market is not favorable, nobody's there to employ you, government is not doing their bid or to keep into their promises, I think as the youth you should think outside the box as well. You can create your own, yes, get a skill, acquire a skill, and of course do something outside a white collar job. A lot of things, people are making money on a daily basis, so you could learn something as well that will make, and this all boils down to the light issue. I said this yesterday also, that when you have when we have the light issue, the power sector is working well and people are having the amount of light they should have, that will enable a lot of youth to do things on their own without depending on the government or anyone else. It's really a shame that on a daily basis we have the same issue. Yes, so I'll move on quickly to the next newspaper we have this morning, and that will be the Guardian newspaper, and these are some of the stories making waves this morning. We have here federal government FG Obi trade accusation on treason charges. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian. We also have a story here that says Mohammed Obi farming insertion. Obi, demarketing me not good for Nigeria. Don't misinform international community, LP says. LP cautions Mohammed. And then we'll have a story here that says reps condemn interim government plot, tackles security agencies on vigilance. All these stories are on page 6 of the Nigerian Guardian newspaper. We also have a story here that says Nigerians' capital inflow buckles under risk, rising risk, monitoring tighten. That story is on page 15 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have a story here that says a test for Nigerians' tenses as Trump faces trial. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have a story here that says NATO's border with Russian double as Finland joins. That story is on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. These are some of the stories we have this morning making waves on the Guardian newspaper. I really have, I don't know this issue of Peter Obi and government inciting problem here and there, but I feel like I will always say, I'm not really much of a fan of politics, but I feel like they should allow the courts to decide when it comes to
Decided.
this.
Peter Obi and the government
Yes, and
issue.
this.
I think lately they said there is a leaked tape that is
Of course, there's
actually
a
going
leaked tape.
around.
There's a leaked audio which I
Most
have listened to, but you leave that for the viewers to judge from
okay.
that the content of that audio. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have this morning.
And so from the newspaper Punch this morning, the major headline here is post-election threats. Obi 30 weeks treason charges federal government wants. And then the writer here says LP presidential candidates deputy calling for in-resurrection treasonable, says minister. Obi should face the law, says APC. Federal government allegation reckless, says Obi PDP. Reps condemn calls for interim government, ask DSS to arrest enemies of democracy. And this story can be found on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And then we also have excuse me, Ramadan. Avoid offensive sermons, Edson Noob tells clerics. You find that on page 2 of the newspaper. And then we also have Whitney, Corona Ok's Queensland Independent Autopsy. And then we also have Afenifere crisis deepens. Youth asks Adebanjo to step down. You find that on page 7 and 10 of the Punch newspaper. And then the foreign scene this morning, foreign investors Sean Kanu, Rivers and Ogun, 24 states. I'll take that again. Foreign investors Sean Kanu, Rivers, Ogun, 24 states. And then we also have Naira crisis, cash circulation low, NLC tells CBN. And then finally on the Punch newspaper this morning, okay, not finally, excuse me, Nigeria more divided than Civil War era. Excuse me, Nigeria more divided than Civil War era. And then finally this morning, protests as Trump plead not guilty to criminal charges. Those are the news this morning on the Punch newspaper.
And then that story actually caught my attentions. Foreign investors Sean Cannon, Rivers, Ogun, 24 states. This is not a good one at all.
At all.
I feel like if you don't put your home in order, people will not. It will not be appealing for somebody to come in. So I really think like a lot of sectors in Nigeria, we are not just talking about the politics, economy, but every other
Everything
sector,
is
the film
affected.
industry, the music, the sports. People should put their houses. We should put our houses in order as to attract foreign investors.
Well, I think we need to wake up to the fact that election is gone already. Everybody needs to start working. The election has already been conducted and the winner has already been pronounced. So I think we all need to come back home and put ourselves in order instead of fighting each other. We are all working for
and then
one
I
nation
saw
building.
this story here also coming from Sanusi this morning that says Nigeria more divided than Civil War era. And if you ask me, that is quite correct. If you're somebody that have done all enough in history, you will know the kind of issues we're having for the past 8 years down to this time up to now is something that's way back. If you check history, we have not seen things like this, and it's really sad. And I also love this story here that says the Naira crisis, cash circulation
Circulation low.
low. NLC tells CBN. Now, don't forget also that last week we saw on the headlines here, we discussed that. I brought an analyst here, we discussed that issue when I was asking just what if, because NLC actually gave the CBN 2 weeks more ultimatum. They had to
Yeah.
extend to watch, and the analyst told me here that I should not forget that CBN have their agents all across all states, where of course they will be monitoring banks, monitoring the cash flow. And now they are coming to tell us that the cash flow is
It's still
actually very
low.
low, and that means they've been doing their bid as well, and it's
Yeah.
a good one. If I think CBN will have to sit up, or NSA will just have to go back to
So
their
it's
previous
like
threat of protests, and maybe that will bring an end to this Naira crisis. As well, we have a story here that says Ramada avoid offensive sermons. Isu Nupe tells clerics. This is a good one if you ask me. That's a very good call. At a time like this, we need unity, love, that message of love, peace, and not war or hatred. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have this morning. Um, we have the blueprints this morning, and these are some of the stories making waves this morning. We have federal government to Obi, you are inciting citizens committing treason. That story is the main headline of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. And also, the writer says LP candidate lack criteria to be declared president, accusing me of insertion, false, malicious. Obi. And then we have another one here that says, I will recover stolen mandate in Southeast APC. We also have one here that says NCC denies tracking, leaking Obi's phone calls with Oyedipo. All these stories can be seen on the page 23 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have a story here that says wires 14 months after Senate France that abandoned corpse urges federal government to evacuate body from UK hospital. That story is on page 15 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have a story here that says fears as killings, kidnapping escalates in Kaduna, Kogi, Kano, Niger. And the writer of the story says Kaduna government confirms adoption of 8 students, others, 2 kidnappers who murdered Niger monarch nabbed. I also have another one here from the DHQ, allays fears over deployment of UN fighting equipment. All these stories on page 9, 13, and 15 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. As well, we move forward now. It says fuel subsidy, Naira redesign pose danger to Nigerians' economy reports. That story is on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says felony, US President Trump arraigned in court, pleads not guilty. That story is on page 7 of the Blueprint newspaper. We have a story as well that says second Niger bridge opens for business May 15. That story is on page 7 of the Blueprint newspaper. We have the last story here that says kinsmen of Slay Enugu LP senatorial candidate place curse on corporates. That story is on page 16 of the Blueprint newspaper. These are some of the stories that are making waves this morning on the Blueprints. It's really a sad one when it comes to these fear as killings, kidnapping escalates in Kaduna, Kogi, Kano, and Niger. At this point, I don't know what the citizens are supposed to do, but we will not stop calling on the security agencies to
Agencies.
do what is right and what is needful. And sometimes I feel they should channel more energy on these places where they have more of
More.
this crisis
Yeah.
of kidnapping, of We read on the news also some days ago that people are fleeing when it comes to Niger State. People are fleeing in their homes, their communities. Where are they going to? Do they have anywhere to go to? These are some of the questions we should ask. And of course, I saw a story here also that says fuel subsidy, Naira redesign poses danger to Nigeria's economy. That is, for me, even me, I applaud. I feel like that report is very correct,
Very
because with the
correct.
way things are really going, look at up till now, we still don't have enough Naira
Naira,
flow, and
and
we still don't
then
have fuel. And then we talk about subsidy
subsidy.
at this point in time. I feel like in all this, the timing, the policies, don't get me wrong, the policies might be correct, might be right, but I just feel like the timing
It's not
is not right.
right.
So we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
And so from the Nigeria Tribune this morning, the major headline here says treason allegation Obi knocks Lai Mohammed. And then the writer says, your accusation malicious, fictitious, he says. As minister accuses him of treason, inviting insurrection, says INEC withheld uploading presidential results on suspicious of cyber attack. And then NCC denies tracking, leaking Obi's phone conversation with Oyedepo. You find the story on page 2 of the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. And then we also have 8 students abducted in Kaduna. And Buhari orders Nasini boss to vacate office. You find that on page 27 of the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. Adamawa PDP insists on wreck removal, says Adamawa people will never surrender mandates. Adamawa people will never surrender mandates. I have no preferred candidate in Kogi, says Atiku. NAS presiding officers, APC governors meet today. You find that on page 5 of the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. Reps condemn calls for interim government. Query why Obasanjo Dati were not questioned. And then we also have in historic arraignment, Trump plead not guilty to 34 felony charges. You find that on page 28 of the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. And then we also have media groups slam NBC over 5 million naira fine on channel television. You find that on page 8 of the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. And then finally, we have court orders interim forfeitures of ex-NIMASA DGs 725 million naira Banana Island property. I'll take that again. Court orders interim forfeiture of ex-NIMASA DGs 725 million naira Banana Island property. Those are the story making headlines on Nigeria Tribune newspaper this morning. And so there's a story that caught my attention here that says 8 students adopted in Kaduna. 8 students. And then we also have media group slam NBC over 5 million naira fine on
I
Channels
had a show
TV.
with the CEO some days ago, sometime last week, and we had this debate of where callers were saying the media compromise a lot. They are not doing what they're supposed to do. And I had this argument with them. In a country where they gag the press, in a country where we don't have a press
Free,
freedom,
yeah.
in a country where we're not allowed access to information, what do you expect? I cannot give you a story what I don't know, a story I don't know much about, or information I'm not very certain about. And now you see that some of these people that are willing to as well come
To
and
come,
to talk, to carry out the job,
they are being
we know you
fined.
have guidelines also to follow, and of course we know the ethics of our jobs, but
Media.
sometimes too we live in a country where if you don't say something that favors a set of people, it might just become a problem. And then we saw a story here also to say court orders interim for feature of Masa DG Banana Island property, and that amount there caught my attention, 725
725
million.
million.
So that is for one property. That's almost like close to a billion. And I think by the time they start doing this to public officials or fee holders, I think they might just want to sit up when they are in that office. We move on quickly this morning now to the last newspaper I have with me here, and that will be the Daily Sun. And these are some of the stories making waves this morning. We have here the say federal government arbitrate words over treason allegation, and the writer says Lai Mohammed accuses LP candidates running mates of inciting insurrection. Another writer here says your claims malicious, fictitious. Replies Obi. All these stories are on Daily Sun newspaper this morning, and we also are on page 6 of Daily Sun. We also have a story here that say election materials. We followed due process. INEC tells PDP APC on. Have a story here that says more trouble for Nigeria as unemployment rate may hit 40.6%. This is coming from the KPMG on page 2 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says Human Rights Commission record 22 hate speech incidents in the last elections. That story is on page 27 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that say Jonathan Governors Ohaneze others pay tribute to late Kalu's wife. That story is on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have another story here that says Kwara reps demand zoning speakership to North Central joins raise. That story is on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says 10 Senate Southeast groups intensify campaign for Kalu at Babio. That story is on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says Soyinka flays attack on non-indigens in Lagos fought dirty. Amen's comments on Tinubu. That story is on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Also have a story here that say bandits adopt 10 secondary school students in Kaduna. That story is on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Also, we have a story here that say financial infractions. Senate panel indicts 27 MDAs on page 25 of the Daily Sun newspaper. These are all the stories we have this morning, but there's a story here that caught my attention as well. We have a story here that says Jonathan pays tributes. A lot of them we say pay condolence also to Kalu for the demise of the wife. But we have a story here that says that Soyinka flays attack on the non-indigens in Lagos. I think this Lagos issue, if it's not well taken care of, is going to escalate into something very, very serious. Because, like she said earlier on the show, the elections have come and gone. But we as a people, we remain, we stay. And what are we supposed to do? I think the watchword right now should be love, peace, forgiveness. Also, a lot of people stepped on toes during the elections. So if you feel like your toe has been stepped on, you should just maybe overlook and move on. We cannot keep reminiscing on one place, being at one circle. A lot of people are in Lagos, not just Igbos, but a lot of other tribes. So what do you do about these people? Are you going to say, oh, just because you're having crisis with the Igbos now, they should all leave? And Lagos also, don't forget that is a business hub for not just the Yorubas, but for the country, for Nigeria as a whole. So I think this issue, those are the elders, the Ohanes, the leaders, the president of different unions, they should sit and have a final resolution on this, because a lot of people will be suffering for these attacks, for these things that are actually happening in Lagos as well. So, like I said earlier, I promised on the show, I'm going to bring in a guest. So we'll go on a quick break, and when we return, I will come back with my guest. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
SRTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of arts, national cash crops, financial products and services, and real estate for huge extra opportunity in diaspora. Look no further. The 36 26 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and hosts of others will be in attendance. Date 15 to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 2856. The Nigerian Week, celebrating the best.
Ladies,
Salvo the rich traditional taste and aroma that comes with a banga meal made from Erimac banga palm fruit extract, prepared with natural ingredients. The wholesome flavor of Erimac banga palm fruit extract adds that delicious taste to your meals. However you choose to enjoy your Erimac banga extract, in a delightful meal of banga soup and swallow, banga jollof rice or banga stew, you get the same Dixon traditional banga taste without the rigorous process involved in the traditional methods of making banga, packaged with state-of-the-art facilities in neat and hygienic conditions that puts it in a class of its own. The Erimac banga palm fruit extract is available in two sizes of 800 and 400 grams. For local and international distribution, please contact 0803 758 1466 or 0805 204 8832. Erimac banga palm fruit extract. Great taste, less stress.
Hello, Nigerians. You're welcome back from that very short break. Like I promised earlier before that break, that I was going to come back with an analyst to discuss some of these issues in this country. We know that when it comes to the sports industry, like as a sector, we don't I feel like there are a lot of fans. We have a lot of people who really love sports, but how many people are involved? What is happening in the world of sports, moving away from politics, moving away from business? We've been having a lot of politics, economic issue over the past weeks. And today I decided to bring in Let's Do Sport and know what's happening, trending in the world of sports. And so this morning I have with me on the show, Martin Odiete, President, ABUJA Online Publishers and a sports analyst. Good morning, sir. You're welcome to the show.
Good morning, Kelsey. How are you doing?
I'm fine, very well, thank you, sir. How are you doing today?
Well, we got the glory. We thank God for His grace in our life.
It's been such a long time. You're welcome once again. So nice having you this morning. I will just go quickly to some of the questions, things we want to know revolving around the world of sports this morning. So can you tell us about the professional league? What's happening there? What's the improvement so far, and who are the table toppers when it comes to the professional league?
Okay, thank you so much, Kelsey. When you talk about Nigerian Professional League, it's under the leadership of the Interim Management Committee right now. The management body that is taking care of the league right now, they are on interim basis because last season we knew the LMC was disbanded by the current Minister of Youth and Sports. But they do right now, they are doing very well. They are trying to steady the ship and make sure that Nigerian League gets up to speed and become what it's supposed to be, because at a particular time, most of us were becoming dissatisfied with what we were seeing with our Nigerian League. I mean, there's something to write about our league. The product of our leagues are no longer qualifying to play some of the best league in the world. Our clubs are not doing well at international level. You see our clubs being knocked out by little clubs from some countries.
Yes.
That are not too known in football. So it's been a story of woe of our league, and
wow.
It was expedient that the Minister of Sports intervened and set up an interim management committee that is currently managing the league and trying to focus them now in the right direction. We are praying that they get the result, because it's not going to be easy. They need sponsorship. They need sponsors.
Now I was gonna come to that based on what you just said, because it's interim, like you said, you used the word. So I was going to ask about sponsorship. How is it with sponsorship, and how are they managing the league? Talking about management now, I was going to get the actually, sir.
I think what really happened is the interim management company, our body, actually did a very good job. From the very onset, they got a sponsor that brought in some money, about 100 million naira, and that they gave all the clubs 10 million to as a cushion to their financial effects. And so they started from there, but they need to do more. Football is much more than that all over the world right now. Football is a very big business.
That's right.
We really need to know how to manage football so our football can attract the kind of money so that our players will not be chopping off and just going to any league all over the world, anywhere they play football because they want to go and look for the hard currency.
Yes.
So they need so much to do in Nigerian football. Our league, this is where we should focus all our energy. You can see what is happening to the national teams right now. All our age grade competitions that we've been knocked out.
Yes, and it's really sad.
So it's as a result of what is happening in our football, in our league. So that is where we should channel all our focus. And I pray that this IMC will get this whole thing right at the end of the day.
Okay, sir. Sir, we know that majority of the youth love talking about sports. Like sports is on the lips of Nigeria youth, but then they don't get to participate in sports. How do we get the youth to participate in Nigerian sports? And we all know that we just played Africa qualifier for next year. We are lucky enough, we went back to them and then we won them. Thank God. Then how do we get Nigerian youth to participate more in sports rather than just talking?
We just have to create the enabling environment. We have to build facilities. We have to have competitions where these youth can consistently participate. That is the issue. The fact is that the enabling environment is not there. It's not there. I mean, there's no money in our sports. Sports like in Nigeria still at a recreational level.
And really, Mr. Mountains, when we look about when we talk about sports, or we look outside Nigeria, I think they are really making waves. A lot of people that is where they put in their money, government, individuals. But I don't know why that business here is not selling in the country. Like, what can we do? Like what she said, not just bringing the youth to participate, but how do we even get there?
No, the fact is that, see, most of this advanced world you are talking about, government do no longer put money in them.
Okay.
It's a private business.
All right.
They run like you run a Coca-Cola company. They run like you run any other global company, telecom company. Football is run like a business. It is not run like something you're just putting up together to just get up put together.
And then you abandon after a while.
We've not gotten it here. We need to have capacity. We need to go and learn how to run this thing. Because this idea of just running like a recreation, and at the end of the day, all our players are doing now, even players in the Nigeria Academy, all they are looking for is how to travel out of the country and go and play abroad. Look, just take an example from South Africa. How many South African players are playing abroad? Very few. Because they are comfortable.
At home.
Very comfortable playing in South Africa. Go to Egypt, go to the South Africans. They're supposed to stay in their country and live well, playing football in their country, doing sports in their country. Why must it be different in Nigeria? Why must it be that you have to leave Nigeria and travel out? Anyway, it's a reflection of what is happening in the general society where we have this jack party now. So it's like this.
So everybody just wants to jabba and run away, even those in the sports world.
Everyone just wants to do it because that is where they believe that they will make it. And it's not too good. We can never develop sport like that. When we can't retain our best hands, our best legs. We can't retain them. Anybody that becomes top goal scorer in Nigeria today, the next thing that the agent is
looking for them, yes, and they just whisk them away very quickly.
Okay, sir, I would like to ask you, is that the reason why we have been losing matches? Is that the reason why we have been losing games? Because of course we have interstate competitions where you can pick best out of the best. You understand? So why are we losing matches? Why are we losing games?
My dear Chelsea, if I have to go into that one, I will spend the whole
day. maybe, sir, you just give us a little tip of the iceberg, and then the viewers also will understand that.
It's a holistic problem. It's a big problem. It's a very big problem. Let me just say, national team star players are not getting there. Players are not taking on merit. A lot of things are going underground. Most of these coaches are indulging in so many things that if you don't have money to come and pay, and that is when they would have get your players. Players are not being gotten by merit. Those days, if you want to go to under 17, they go they do screening all over the country to pick the best. The best of the best. Those are the people that they will pick. But this day, what do they do? Once they open a camp for under 17, under 20, under 23, you see all these football agents. We storm into these coaches and it's not even them because sometimes the pressure will be too much on them. Apart from them, most of these top administrators in Nigerian football, they also have their own players. They will send notes, send to the coach, put my player. And if the coach does not do that, sometimes the coach will stand the risk of losing his job. So these things are so dicey, they are so difficult. And that is why we are in the situation we are right now. Like somebody once said one time, Tijani Obangida, former Nigerian, he said, this is where we should focus on. This is where Nigerian Football Federation should declare a state of emergency because the corruption level in our football is so high. It's like that in Kakao, and it's not only in national team, even in clubs. These days now, coaches now will not get you. Coaches will divide salary with a player before they sign you in. It was okay. I'm going to take also percentage of your salary. And that's how they do it. And if you don't pay, even if you know how to play to high levels, they will not take you. So it has gotten that bad. The corruption level is so high.
So what do we do to sanitize that very sector?
We need to declare a state of emergency in that because that thing is like a canker worm. It's a big canker worm to Nigerian football. Because when we don't pick players again on merit, when the players that get into the national teams are players that pave their way through to the national team.
Of course, they will go there and all you will get is disappointment. I understand that.
That is why we are getting what we are getting. There's no rocket science to it. That is exactly why we are getting what we are getting. We are not featuring the best legs in Nigeria. All the kind of people we are getting there are people who paid their way through. I'm telling you the fact, that is just it. So we really need to, the NFF really need to look into that direction. Unfortunately, most of the top football administrators, some of them they have players also. Most of them are also managers of players. You imagine you are working you are in NFF as a board member. You are a club chairman.
A manager to a particular group of persons. So I understand.
You are also a manager to players.
Yes.
And now tell me, won't you be using your position now
to? Of course, to favor those ones. Of course. So we understand what you're saying. But okay, now based on what you just said, let's talk about the last match in Napoli. Where we've seen them over the time winning their matches, and then Osimhen came and the story they changed all of a sudden. Now, what's this impact based on this boy is a Nigerian player, is a Nigerian citizen? What do you think of that boy?
Well, Osimhen is the rave of the moment right now.
Yes, that is why I brought him up, because I heard somebody some days ago actually talking, group of guys talking about him and all that. So what do you think will be his impact?
Well, are you talking about his impact in Nigerian football, his impact or in his club?
Both, as a Nigerian and that club.
Yeah, right now, Osimhen is one of the most sought after players in the whole world. Osimhen is one of the most sought after players right now in the whole world. He has been able to build his profile so high because in this business, if you're a striker, you strike very well, and that is where you market yourself very well. Osimhen came into Napoli, and at the early stage, a little bit struggle trying to understand the league, and now he understands the league, and now he is now scoring goal on a regular basis. He's the top scorer right now in this year, and so he's really helping the club. A club that has not won a league for a very long time now. He's on the verge of winning the Serie A title, the Scudetto. So you can't take away what the impact of Osimhen in their quest to win the league right now. And that is why they are holding on to him like a jewel. And if they have to market him, they will have to make so much money from him. Yeah, it's like a gold mine now for Napoli Football Club. So you can't, when you now bring him down to Nigerian football, we will not be able to maximize him. We will not be able to use him very well. In fact, our football playing now, we have hazard. I can't even understand what the coaches are even playing. I don't know what to put it down to. But the fact is that Osimhen has not reenacted what he's doing. It's not because he doesn't want to do it, or it's not because he can't do it. The fact that the coaches have not been able to bring out the best in them, from him. So, and not only him, a lot of other Nigerian players doing very well abroad. They come to this place, you see them that the coach cannot even put them together very well. And somebody cannot even give me an excuse that they don't have enough time to train, because the same way the other countries don't have enough time to train. The fact that you have to be good as a manager. So you have to be good, you have to be up to speed with your job. So that's why I'm so disappointed right now currently. And I'm not, for some time now, I'm not even going to watch the Super Eagles matches, because when they were about to employ this, most Nigerians said this man does not have a track record of winning. But the last NFL board went ahead and employed him for us, whether we like it or not. Look at what we're having. This is the result we're having today. So disappointing. So what do? If you have to sack him now, you have to pay him a very huge amount. This current NFL doesn't want to do. So we are caught in between the devil and the deep blue sea. That in the situation of the Pasero, our Super Eagle coach, and it's not been, the results have not been encouraging. We've not been convincing in the way we play our football. I mean, we've not dominated people. I mean, we are with the white man just, okay, this is a Super Eagle team that we know. We just been struggling with teams, Guinea-Bissau, small little teams that normally will beat and overrun. Can you imagine what is happening in our football? So basically, that is the issue. We can't marry that to a simple problem. Because Osimhen on his own, he's doing his job and he's doing it in his club. Mind you, by next season, Osimhen might not be in Napoli because Chelsea is after him. Is after him.
Hey, now talking about Chelsea. Also, we were hearing that they sacked their coach after spending so much money and buying players here and there. Now, what do you make of that?
We're not hearing they sacked their coach.
Okay, I want to hear from you as a sports analyst now. That is why I said that. So tell us more about that. After spending so much money on buying players.
See, you see that matter is a very delicate matter. The fact is this. When they employed that coach, I was not convinced. I was waiting for him to come and convince me, but he never convinced me. It's not about buying all manner of players. It's just like somebody who doesn't know how to cook. You went to the market and buy all sorts of ingredients and come and give him. I mean, the person might not come out well again. It's not about buying players. The fact is that the coach, Chelsea is far above him. He's a middle table coach. He's very comfortable with the club where they don't have ambition. They are just there. They're not going on relegation, but they're not qualifying for Champions League. They're not winning the league. That is the kind of place he's so comfortable with. But you can't come to an ambitious club like Chelsea where they are ready to spend the money because they want to compete with the world best. That pressure alone, you need a coach who can withstand that pressure, who knows his job. This coach doesn't have history. He has not won any. He has not coach any top level club anywhere in the whole world before. You just come and you just brought it, and you sack a coach who won a Champions League for Chelsea just last year. I mean, it doesn't say well of the owner of Chelsea, because most of us we're so disappointed with the kind of decision making that is coming out from Chelsea. So disappointed. Why would you not just come, you sack a coach just for one flimsy excuse, and go and bring a coach who's showing the experience? And you think if you buy the whole world for him and you will be able to turn out good results. They have seen it that it didn't come out well. Chelsea is in a very difficult situation right now, and this season is already gone. There's only they can achieve
anymore. Okay, so so moving little away from football, let's talk about Anthony Joshua. What does that victory mean to Nigerians?
Anthony Joshua, is he representing Nigeria? Let's
no. As a Nigerian now, because when you have people making you proud, if they are Nigeria in something, is an applaud, of course, to the country.
Yeah, it's okay. The only thing I know is that the British press, when Anthony Joshua loses in Nigeria, but when he wins, they beat him. It's okay.
I understand that feeling as well, sir. A lot of people say that.
What I know is this. When somebody who most of us see as a Nigerian, if he's doing well, it's like a mentorship. It inspires other younger ones. You understand?
Yes,
other younger
that's right.
That if Anthony Joshua can do it, we can also do it. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah, so it aspires people, the younger persons will now begin to have the belief in themselves. Like, okay, Anthony, one of our brothers is there doing it at the top level. If you can get to that level, Mr. Bondi can get there. That's what it does. That's what it does. You see, so we just pray for him that he's able to get back onto his feet, because he suffered a lot of defense sometimes.
Yes,
that's his bed. He's not without any bed right now. So he's trying to come back again. So that victory that victory some few days ago means so much to him, because he puts him now in a very right state downstairs to fight for a belt, which we think might come against Tyson Fury very soon. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and see what happens next. But then that victory was so good for him. If he had lost that again, it would have
been disastrous.
his mood. So basically, that's what I believe that it was a good victory for him. That he got that victory. People expected he was going to knock that guy out. Throughout, he will announce himself that I'm back, seriously. But unfortunately, it was a unanimous decision. It's okay, it's still a victory.
Yeah,
And then
victory.
we look for the next fight he's going to go for. He's going to go for a bet right now. And hopefully, it might be Tyson Fury. And let's hopefully that. And Tyson Fury is a very
Strong.
hard nut to crack.
Yes, that's
Very
right.
hard nut
To crack.
So it's not anybody that wants to get to the top. You have to be strong anyway.
That's correct. That's correct. Like you said, we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. And just before we let you go, Mr. Ojete, what would be your last words on this show this morning as regarding the Nigeria national club, the league? What do you think again, just before you go, and of course the youth as well?
Well, what I will say is this. The Nigerian Sports Ministry, the Nigerian Football Federation, all Nigerian football stakeholders should convene a summit where Nigerian football should be discussed. Because all we are doing now is pretending right now. We are still hoping that the IMC, the interim body, will get everything right. But they are still a far way away from from the destination, because if you have to compare ourselves with what is happening in other countries, even with Africa, we are not doing well at all. So if we want to set our football back on track, we need to start from the league, and we need to do things right. We need to be able to retain our best leg in our league, at least for some seasons. You don't just begin because you just began. They discovered you yesterday. You've not even consolidated yourself. The next thing you're going off to one of strong country because you are going to look for dollars. Because when you play, you know how these boys are playing Nigerian league so far. I call them glorified amateur clubs.
Wow.
They just call them professional clubs. These guys are not training professional. You know it's not professional. Go and see what the kind of vehicle they enter. Go and see the kind of hostel they live. Go and see the kind of food they eat. I mean, just very few of them that are very up to standard. It's not all of them. A lot of them are just, they even hardly pay these people as at when due. I mean, that is the situation that young footballers are going through in this country. And that's why they all want to go away. But if they can stay in this country and they pay them well and they get their money very well, they live in a very good environment, drive at least comfortably a good car, that you are playing football, I mean, the rate at which they want to go out will reduce. So that is the area we should focus on as Nigerians, football lovers, as Minister of Sports, NFF, those who are running football in this country, even sports journalists. We should just focus in this direction to revive our league and put it back in place.
Well, thank you so very much, sir, for being on the show this morning. We appreciate your time and, of course, all that knowledge. Maybe just maybe we'll have you again on the show some other time. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. I have been talking with Martin Ojete, President, ABUJA Online Publishers and Sports Analyst. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
You too, sir.
Well,
Quite
interesting. I liked it. I think he answered my question very well because I've been thinking, watching interstate matches, that's Ogun versus Nasarawa, you get to see a lot of good players. And then I will just ask myself, this person plays well. Is the Nigerian Sports Association not seeing that?
I think from what all he has said, they focus more energy on one part, and then you know now how Nigeria is. So we really don't hope that, like what he said, you're going to put their houses in order. Like we hear, like he said also that the industry should be declared, the federal government should declare state of emergency as a matter of urgency as well. Thank you so much for being part of the show this morning. It has been a fun ride for me, and as I know for you as well.
For me too, yeah.
But just before we go, don't forget our London week, which is very fast approaching. Just be part of it. Book your tickets, get your tickets, get a stand, and of course, apart from the food, the culture, the music, the film, the entertainment, we're going to have a lot of business opportunities that will come along on that event. So don't be left out, be part of it. Well, Pat, thank you so much for being part of the show
so
this
much
morning.
for
We'll
having
do this
me
again tomorrow. And while you are out there, remember that peace is priceless. So let's give peace a chance. I'm Princess Cassie.
And I am Patience Okuso.
See you tomorrow.
SRTV London, in partnership with NTA-TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business and networking, displaying a wide range of arts, national cash crops, financial product and services, and real estate for huge extra opportunity in diaspora. Look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and hosts of others will be in attendance. Date 15th to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 2856. The Nigerian Week, celebrating the best